Alright, we're back with the cast of Xenoblade Chronicles 2. Here is my tier list for the cast of Xenoblade Chronicles 2. This is gonna be fun. I like a lot of these characters. I think my appreciation for the cast of characters just gets more and more with each of the games. So yeah, without further ado, let's get this going. I'm gonna fill out the D tiers first because this game has some D tier characters. First of all, let's go in order. Banna, D tier. Hate him. There's some really good villains in this game. To me, Banna's not one of them. I don't enjoy Banna. Very annoying, very grating, very silly. Just, no. Speaking of grating, silly, annoying, Dougal, worse than Banna. Truly, truly pathetic. Cannot take him seriously. Not a fan of Dougal whatsoever. His idle animation with his arms is just... Okay, some characters I will put in D tier, but I won't do it so quickly because I want to kind of think about them some more before making a decision. Gort deserves to be in D tier. He's the worst of the worst. Not because he's a poorly written character, it's just because he's like an awful person as well. So I'll keep Gort in D tier. He deserves to stay there. Anyone else I can... Torna. Unfortunately, Torna is the one party member in this whole tier list. I'm gonna put him in D tier. Sorry, Torna. You had it coming. Sorry. Torna's just annoying. I am not a fan of his antics, his silliness. I do like that Torna respects and looks up to Rex as a mentor, but everything else about Torna is just not a fan. Not a fan of Torna. This is the Queen of Uriah. I actually have not much of an opinion on her, so I'll just put her in D tier, not because of disrespect, I just kind of don't know where else to put her. This is the Tornan guy who's like the first Tantalese guy as well, sort of. I honestly don't remember him much. I just know that he kind of makes that deal with Indal in the end. I'll just put him in here. I even forgot his name. I think that does it for D tier characters for now. I'll put King Eulogimenos in high D tier as well. Let's see. Alright, let's do the characters now. Main party members outside of Torna. Rex. I will put Rex in A tier. And this is interesting. Rex was not in my top 10 Xenoblade Chronicles characters. And if I were to change the list, I think he would make it into the cut now. I told someone in the comments of that video Rex would be a very close number 11. I think he's made it into the top 10 list now because it's been a year since I played Xenoblade 2 for the first time, and my opinions on Rex as a protagonist have changed quite a bit, because I personally think that his development and his change from beginning to end is more significant and drastic than Shulk's. And the only thing that is annoying about Rex and not so good is just his kind of personality is a little not as relatable, but that's where I want to come back to. Rex is childish, so to people like us, he may not be relatable. But when I think about myself back when I was 15 years old, Rex really reminds me of myself back then. So that's my kind of how I relate to Rex in a way. The very optimistic, positive mindset. And that's the kind of person the architect wants people to look up to, and put one S tier up there. Alright. Nia, S tier. Favorite character in the game. I think she has a really cool arc in this game, Nia does, because Nia starts off very, very pessimistic. Doesn't believe in Elysium, doesn't believe in a bright future, and she's just come from a very tough past with very difficult kind of family situation and just a very troubled relationship with her father, who you learn is not really her father, but is more so her driver, her original driver. And she holds a part of her sister within her. But throughout the course of the game, Nia's whole arc is that, like, is me being a flesh eater, like, making me like a pariah to society? Am I like an outcast? Where do I belong? Who am I within this world? And she finally finds that kind of connection and sense of family and belonging with Rex, and I really like that. Yeah, that's just kind of a great arc for Nia, because you see her at the beginning of the game, very pessimistic, very, like, she doesn't even want to, like, travel with Rex. She kind of sees in him a future and, like, a bright future, but she's just like, I don't think it'll work out. I don't think we will find this Elysium place. I don't think the future for everyone will be as great as this random kid says it will be. But she sticks with it, and yeah, things turn out. Any more S tiers? Any more S tier characters I want to put up here? Where is Zeke? I'll put him in S. I like Zeke a lot. Zeke is like the Ryan of this group, but he's older. He's much older. He's like the age of, it's probably a little younger than Dunban, I would say, but he's not as mature as Dunban. So he's got the attitude of Ryan, but the role of Dunban. So he is the kind of mentor and role model to Rex and the other younger party members, but he's still such a goofball, which I like. He's got a lot of silly, funny moments with Pandoria and the rest of the cast, but he's also like a very down-to-earth, serious kind of guy, which I really appreciate. Very, very down-to-earth, serious guy who is like, whenever things get truly dire and serious, he knows what he needs to do, and he knows that he needs to be there for like the people that need him. So I love that about him. Great character. Mythra, S or A? Oh, I guess I have to put her in S now. And I'll put her over here. Yeah. Mythra's great. I prefer her to Pyra because of her, because of the fact that Mythra has the character development, whereas Pyra not so much. I also just enjoy Mythra's personality a little bit more than Pyra's, and it's cool because you don't really truly understand Mythra until you play Torna. That's the thing. You don't understand Mythra until you play the Torna expansion, because in that game, that's where you see the root of her anguish, depression, her kind of sadness, and her defeat. You see where that all stems from, where it comes from. But with Torna, you really see a truly different kind of Mythra than you were used to in Xenoblade 2 base game. Xenoblade 2 base game, she's just kind of like abrasive, yet kind of standoffish, but more like understanding and accepting of things. In Torna, she's a bratty teenager. She's so bratty and very, at times, very mean and vulgar to people. And Adam is always nurturing her, being like a parent and all that, and that all leads up to the moment where she finally just loses control. And that's the whole struggle of their relationship in that expansion, where it's like Adam has the will to lead, just be the true driver of the Aegis, but there are some shortcomings that he has, and one of them is just kind of taming the beast that is Mithra. And eventually you see her downfall, her regretful destruction, all that. So it's very interesting to see her develop from what she is in Torna to what she is in 2, and what she eventually like develops into by the end of the game of Xenoblade 2. So yeah, speaking of which, Adam, put him in B tier. Really cool guy. I just enjoy his presence in the game. Really cool, really wholesome guy. I talked about him a lot already, so. Pyra, here's a hot take. I'm not truly that big of a fan of Pyra. I'll put her in B tier. This is just kind of a bland character to me. But I do like her relationship with Rex. I personally think that Pyra is more suited of like a kind of like a partner to Rex than Mithra is. And like I say that in the sense that like when you had to choose what to call Numa in chapter 8, I chose Mithra because I liked Mithra more as a character. But I kind of regretted that, because in all the very emotional scenes and scenarios where Rex screams out her name, I feel like that would have been better. It would have hit harder if he had screamed Pyra's name, because of how closer of a connection he has with Pyra, you know? But all in all, like my true ship with Rex is Mia, and not any of these two, so it's besides the point. Let's see, what else? Party members. Where's Morag? Morag! Put Morag in A. It's because Morag has a very cool, like, badass personality, but she doesn't develop much in the game, and people are, that's kind of a shortcoming about her, but it is addressed in the end, where she herself says, like, everyone has their purpose, but what is mine? And I still maybe have yet to find my purpose. But the thing is with Morag is she develops from like a very one-track minded woman, where she's like Inquisitor, Morardain, my people, destroy the Aegis, and this kid who is like, who is this kid? What is this Aegis? I need to put a stop to this. But once things are like, once she gets more of an idea of who Pyra and Mithra are, who Rex is, who Nia is, she later understands like why she's here and what she's meant to do. And what's interesting is she's always asking Rex, why do you feel this way? Rex, why are you doing this? And he gives her very good and profound answers. So that's her kind of motivation to stick around and be there for him. Speaking of her, Bridget, I will put in B. Bridget is interesting because you see her in Torna and you see her in the base game. And she's sort of the same person, the same personality, but she's a little more abrasive in Torna. She's like a very strict mother. Whenever Mithra like talks out of turn, she's like, shut up and do what you need to do. Like, don't complain. I'm not here to listen to any of that. So that's what I liked about Bridget. Yeah. Bridget is B. Pandoria, putting her in C. Wasn't a fan. Thought she was a little annoying. But her relationship with Zeke is nice, but yeah, not so much. Patroka, C. She's funny. She has funny moments. Otherwise, not kind of one-note character. Also, voice acting, it's not the best voice acting in the game. Dromark, C. Or should I put him in B? I'll keep Dromark in C. because he's just kind of there, and he's a great guy, but he's just also kind of there. And nothing against Dromark or anything, but I enjoyed him for what he was. I enjoy his one-liners and all that, but in the end, he's just kind of there. Azurda. Put Azurda a bit higher than Dromark. Azurda's cool because you see him in the base game, and you see him in Torna. So like, it's really cool how he has had a connection with Jin and also a connection with Rex. That's really cool. But there are times when I'm like, Azurda, you could have really helped us a lot throughout this quest, but you were just like keeping silent this entire time. Come on, Gramps. Okay, I'll put some more A's here. Vandam, A. Ha. Yes, this is a good solid A. Vandam, though, he does not appear much in the game. He is a very powerful, impactful character to the story. Very good mentor to Rex. Very good driving force of the narrative. And just kind of an inspiration to the whole cast of characters. And spoilers for Xenoblade 3. But Nia does mention to the cast of Xenoblade 3, there was a man named Vandam, and if it wasn't for him, we wouldn't be standing here today. And I thought that was really cool, because like, just imagine the quest without Vandam. There wouldn't be a lot to fight for, there wouldn't be a lot to inspire these drivers and blades to reach their goal. Yeah, he did a lot for the team, and he also took one for the team. Rip Vandam. Great character, though. Minoth is here twice, as Cole and as Minoth. I'll put him as B. Really cool character. I'll put his Torna version above. I like how Torna is like, oh, you knew these characters in the base game? Let's see them in the past. So it's cool, really cool seeing Minoth like that, so yeah. And I love how he's like this badass warrior and fighter, but he's also like a poetic kind of a lyricist and poet. So that's cool. And then a playwright later on, so I like that. Very awesome. Akos. High C. The only reason I'm putting him here is because his theatrics are fun. He's a very, like, flashy, theatrical kind of guy. I like that. Mikhail, I'll put him above everyone. I'll put his kid version here, too. I say that because Mikhail, I would say he's probably the most developed out of all of the Torna lackeys, outside of Jin and Malus, obviously. And that's because you see him in Torna, you see him as like this broken kid who's lost his family. The only family he has left is like the party of Torna the Golden Country. And he makes a really good friend in Milton. And then when Mithra does her whole destruction thing inadvertently and kills Milton, he feels so upset with her, and that's like his driving force to join Jin Malos against the Aegis. So that's so cool. I love how that kind of recontextualizes a lot of things. And you get to see him before he becomes a Blade Eater, kidnapped by Amalthus and all that. Speaking of Milton, low B. Really cool guy, really cool, wholesome character. Yeah. Hayes. Hayes. We'll put Hayes in. High B. I liked Hayes a lot. Her connection to Laura, it's like they're sisters. I like that a lot. And she's just fun, wholesome. Very sad when she dies in base Xenoblade 2, and her presence in base Xenoblade 2 as Fan Lenorn is very interesting because you don't think twice, but then when Mithra comes out and is like, Haze, is this really you? You're like, who's Haze? And then you play Torna and you realize this was a completely different person and in like a very different kind of way. You know, it just makes her death a lot more sadder, knowing who she originally was in Torna. Poppy, oh, controversial take. You guys ready for this? Poppy, C tier. I'm not a fan of Poppy. I think Poppy is a little annoying. I'm just not a fan of that whole like idea of Poppy and all her moments where everyone's like, oh, Poppy, so wholesome. I'm like, stop. I don't know how else to describe it, but I'm just not that big of a fan of Poppy. We'll just leave it at that. I'm gonna put in some more high tier characters. Laura A. Very fun. Very good protagonist. I wouldn't say fun, very wholesome, very responsible protagonist, because you don't play as many adults in the Xenoblade series. She's probably the oldest protagonist. I don't know how old Cross is or Elma is, but she's older than Rex, Shulk, and Noah, so that's nice. And very, very, like, in terms of, like, a very good, lovers dynamic, that's a very good connection she's got with Jin, and it makes the ending of Torna all the more sad, because I love how that last song, Moment of Eternity, I think that's what it's called, it's basically sung in the point of view of Laura having passed away, kind of like her parting words to Jin. Promise me that you'll walk again and smile and find that someone that helps you move on from this sorrow. So yeah, cool. Jin, low S tier. Low S tier. Very, very awesome character. He was in my top 10 as well. All these guys up here were in my top 10. And Adam, I don't know why. I'll keep him in B. Just, see, this is what I told you. My whole top 10 list is changed with this tier list and having played Xenoblade 3 and thinking about the games a lot more. But I'll say Jin is very cool because he's a character you don't fully understand unless you play Torna and you see why he is doing everything that he is doing. And that is my disappointment with him originally. I didn't get why he was doing all of this. I didn't get why he was so mad and depressed and sad and vengeful of the architect and Amalthus. And I don't think the flashbacks in 2 really do it justice. I think playing Torna does it justice, and experiencing what led Jin to the way he was. So I'll put Jin up there because he's kind of like Ego in the sense that he's a character that is he's wronged, he's done so much, and he's been given so much pain and sorrow and misery from everyone else around him. And he's like, why do I deserve all this? And that brings into the question, like, why are we here? Why are blades the way they are? And I think he's a very good lens to view that kind of question off of. So yeah, Jin, S tier. Hot take, Malos, A tier. I think Malos is great, but I think my problem with Malos is that he is too much of a reflection of Amalthus. Whereas Pyra and Mithra weren't that drastic of a reflection of Rex. They had more of their own personality than Malos did. But Malos has a very cool presence, very cool dialogue, very awesome voice acting. So I gotta have him up there. Yeah, he still had that menacing presence to him. What the heck is Igeon doing here? I don't want to put him as low as Gort. And Dougal, I'll put him here. Rock, I'll put them over here. Yeah, I'll put Rock here. I'll move these guys up a little. There. Yeah. They're fairly important to the story. Yeah, Igeon was important in Torna, but not really as well. He was just kind of there, so. Niall. First of all, Hugo. I will put Hugo. Put him in C. Put him over here. Hugo's cool. I don't have much of an opinion off of him. He's just cool. I also don't like that he looks exactly like Niall. I think it's silly. That's besides the point. Niall. I'll put Niall in B. Niall is cool because since I am a younger brother myself, kind of related to that whole Niall and Morag dynamic. Even though they're not actually siblings, they're cousins, but still, they got that dynamic going for them, so I like that. He's a really good ruler as well. One of the very cool, very nice supporting characters in the game. Amalthus. Put him in A. Amalthus is a character that is very well written, very good. His flashbacks are very well done, but oh boy, do you hate him. And I guess that he does the job of being a very good villain because you hate him so much. And when Jin killed him, I was very happy that he's gone. But very good kind of reflection of like a god complex kind of guy who feels that everything belongs to him. He just feels that he deserves more than what has already been given to him. I'll be doing one more of these with the Xenoblade Chronicles 3 characters, so stick around for that one as well. And like always, like, subscribe, stick around for more content, and I'll see you in the next one later.